Hi, in this video, we will be talking about a very useful tool when an analysis comes. So let's take an example here. You are working in a company and a store department gives you a set of raw data. You have a weekly presentation with the CFO and you want to present that raw data in a meaningful manner. So what I mean is you have a bunch of raw data with you and you have to make sense out of that raw data, and in the meeting with the CFO you have to give your inputs regarding that raw data. Let's see how can we do that. In front of you is that raw data. There are various sales details. There is a sale date, store name, city, region, the code names, and the sales made of plastic, foods, liquid, and others. Now this is a raw data. I cannot infer anything from this data at present. Let's try and play around with it and present this data in a very meaningful manner. For that, let's add a column of year. How can I extract only the year from this date? If you have been carefully following us, then I am 100% sure that you know the answer to this. How can I extract the year from this date? By using a function known as year, right? Is equal to year, select the date and close the bracket. Press enter. By default it takes a date format, but I don't need it to be in a date format. Let's select general, right? So I have 2015. Can I do the same for all these dates and get year? All right, now I have sale date, I have year, I have store name and various details along with it. Step 1, select this entire data. Step 1, select this entire data. A word of caution here, when you are selecting the entire data, please note that no column should be left without the headings. What I mean is, all the columns should have an associated heading, right? So I select the data in step 1. Step 2, I go to insert and I click on pivot table, right? What does pivot does? Let's read. It easily arranges and summarizes complex data, right? So if I click on this pivot table, it will pop a dialog box in front of me and it will say, choose the data that you want to analyze. By default, the range would have been selected for you. Why? Because you selected the entire table. Choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. In a new worksheet, I click on OK and it gives me something like this. Now this ideally is a pivot table. Here you will see the values based on the specifications that I will do in the rightmost part of this table. I have all the columns head here and I have 4 options towards the below of, and I have 4 options just below the column heads: filters, columns, rows, and values. Now let's play around with it a bit and see how can we analyze that entire raw data and summarize it. So let's put the store name in the rows. Just drag the store names down to the rows. You will notice all the store names have appeared here. Okay. Now, what do I need to do? Now I need all the sales made against these stores. So what sales of plastics does Big Bazaar make? I take plastic and drag it to the values, right? It will give me the sum of total plastic sold by Big Bazaar. Similarly, I'll drag foods and place it below values. Same way, liquid and others as well. So I have summarized an entire raw data. I have summarized this raw data by using a pivot table. And now I can infer, alright, out of all these years, Big Bazaar has sold 4872 items of plastics. Right? Similarly, Easy Day has sold 339 items of foods. Now, let's add certain parameters to it as well. Let's say that I need to check this data region wise. I drag the region down to rows, but before the store name, right? Just observe what happens to your data. Now, a much better presentation appears before you. I have all the stores region wise. So I have East and all the stores. I have North and all the stores, right? So I get the data region wise. Do I have an option to filter this data now year wise? Do I have that option? Let's see. Take your year column and drag this in filters. What happens is, if you notice, in the first row, a drop down icon appears. Now this is ideally your filter. As and when you select 2010, the data will be filtered to show the results only for 2010. I select 2010 and I press OK. See, the data has been filtered according to 2010. I want to see it for 2018. I select 2018 and press OK. The data is again filtered to show the results for 2018. I want to clear the filter. Select all. Right? That's how I can use pivot table to analyze huge chunks of raw data. Now we are clear with filters. We are clear with rows. We are also clear with values. One important thing here is, right now we are seeing the sum of plastic sold. right? If I need to see the average or any other function to be applied, count maybe, average, just click on this small down arrow here, go to value field settings. In value field settings, right now sum is selected. If you want average, select average. If you want count, select count and click on OK. I need right now the sum only, and hence I select sum and click on OK. Now one portion is left, and that is columns. Now if I enter anything in under rows, I get the data like this. What will happen if I take city, let's say, to the columns? You might have guessed by now, if I take it to columns, my entire data will be sorted or will be shown city wise. But let's avoid that presentation as of now, because that does not look good and it's very difficult to make sense out of this. If you want to remove, then click on the checkbox again. Alright, so this was a summarized version of data. What to do if I need to sort this data city wise? I can pick city and drag it to filters. Now I have two filters with me. If I select any city, let's say Chennai, and click OK, I will get the data only for Chennai. Now in Chennai, there is Big Bazaar, Food Hall, Sabka Bazaar, and so on. I can apply both the filters simultaneously as well. Let's see how. I need the data for Chennai for 2016. I get the data for Chennai for 2016. Let's uncheck all the filters. Now, that was easy, right? Now you know how to create a pivot table and how to play around with this data to summarize huge chunks of raw data. One more thing, by applying filters like this is an old school technique. This is not followed in today's times. If this is not followed in today's times, let's uncheck and city as well. Then what to do if I need to filter this data? There are something known as slicers, right? There are some things known as slicers. A modern day filter is known as a slicer, a fancy term to denote a modern day filter. Let's see what is exactly a slicer. Click anywhere inside your pivot table, go to insert, and then click on slicer. Alright, click on slicer. You will have a list of all the column headings. The first filter that I want is year. I click on OK. You notice something like this, a graphical presentation of all the years. What will happen now if I click on any of this? Let's click on 2013. Just observe what happens to your pivot table. Right? You get the data for 2013. You need it for 2011. You get it for 2011. You need it for 2018. You click on 2018 and you get the data. So same approach what filter used to do, slicer is much more a graphical or a visual presentation of it. If you want to remove the filter, click on this icon, clear filter. It will take you back. Can you have more than one slicers? Yes, you can. Go to anywhere inside your pivot table, insert, click on slicer and click on city and OK. Now you have all the cities available. Can two slicers work simultaneously? Absolutely. I need the data for 2013 for Jaipur. I get it for Jaipur. I need the data for 2011 for Kolkata. I get the data for Kolkata. Right? So that is how you play around with pivot table to summarize and to better present, to give a meaningful insight into your raw data. Try for yourself. It's very, very easy and very interesting.